Exercise, energize, strength and tone at your own pace. Oh, get low, get low, get low, get low. On the carbs, on the carbs. Get high, get high, get high, get high. Take the protein to the sky. Low carb queen is here to say, do weight loss in your own way. Just watch the carbs that intake. Throw that processed food away. Yeah, yeah. Get low, get low, get low, get low. On the carbs, on the carbs. Get high, get high, get high, get high. Take the protein to the sky. Yeah, get low, 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 get low.
Hey,
Carbs.
let me turn this off. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, this is going to be a good one, okay? This is going to be a good night. Hello, L. Lewis. Hello, Felicia Marie. And anybody else? Losing it, Grace. Hey, how are you? Yes, take the protein to the sky. Stella, how are you? So glad to have y'all in the building. Excuse me. Don't forget to thumbs up the live. And a special hello to my wonderful, wonderful guest. Beautiful. I am colored, Miss Evelyn. So glad to have you in the building. So glad that you agreed to do this live. Y'all know I'm here. Those of you who know me, I'm here on my phone. And
Thank you
then
for
I
having
have
me.
my laptop so I can really see what's going on. Okay. Yes, I love the hat too. So welcome to Low Carb Queen. For those of you who might be new or come in later on or might be
Hey,
out in the
Kim, real quick before we
bushes.
start, you're kind of going out on my end. I don't know if maybe folks in the chat can tell me, like, is Kim going in and out on your end too, or is it just me?
Oh, wow. My internet has been acting up lately and I'm on my phone. So hopefully, and I have, I
Can you
still
say
have,
something? Can you
can
say
you hear
something,
me?
Kim?
Is it still going in and out? Is this, let me see, hold on. I don't know what that's about. Let me see. Is it still going in and out? Calamity Jane,
No,
how are
right now,
you?
no. I can hear you
You can hear me good now?
loud and clear.
Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let me know if it happens again. So I hear a little static. I don't know what that is. Hopefully, hopefully it'll all work itself out. But yeah, so glad to have y'all in the building. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit, very
Okay.
little bit about GLP-1. We're going to try to mix in GLP-1 and marriage, but I'm going to tell you how this was really birthed for me. I was in on one of Evelyn's recent lives, and she was talking about marriage, and it was so good. And if I'm not mistaken, part of it was even talking about like evolving, in marriage and with as well as with GLP. Please chime in and clarify any of that. But so it was a good conversation and it ended quick. And so I was like, oh, this is good. This has to be continued. So I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about that. But go ahead and tell us what that last live was
I had to go
about.
to the gym.
You said what?
Sure. So Am I cutting in and out?
Just for a second, but I'm not sure if it's you or me, but we're gonna try to press forward and see.
Hmm. Let me close out of something and see if that helps.
Yeah, because I got about
Okay.
5 to
So
6 videos.
last week I hosted a live on my channel to provide some updates. Um, I talked about my powerlifting update for those of you who joined. I had a quick message that I needed to get out to somebody regarding taking advantage of opportunities that may not come in the packages that we think they should come in. And for me, my example was how I ended up in law school and the avenue by which I took to get there. And then the last topic that I wanted to do something fun last week. And so the last topic that I raised was sharing with the listeners, um, kind of like I guess you would say a non-scale victory that I secretly have been holding to my chest for a long time, but I decided to share it with the group. And and the NSB was that I could be able to wear at some point, hopefully next summer, is what I shared with the folks on the live last week. The Baywatch style red swimsuit, but I wanted it to be a thong, and
Okay.
that cascaded into a very lively conversation towards the end. Now, coincidentally, while I'm sharing this, my husband is never in the chats, y'all. Do you understand? Never. But this particular one, he happened to be in the chats while he was supposed to be at work. And then not only he was in it, my mama had the nerve to be in the chat. So it was fun, very fun topic. But I agree. It seems like as it was starting to get going, as Is Darium chimed in to support my husband on the topic of
It
I
has
guess
something to
kind
do
of a
with pole
male
dancing.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it did. It did. Because, well, we talked about forms of exercise. Okay. And, right, Elwood? So we talked about forms of exercise. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the forms of exercise I brought up because we were just having such a good time was pole dancing classes. And so that cascaded into my husband chiming in, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but basically saying something to the effect of, he not with the stripper culture, and he don't really feel like, that's something that the average man is interested in. And at Isterium actually agree with my husband on that particular live. And so there was this very quick discussion. There was this very quick discussion about the line between, okay, nobody's talking about going out and popping tail for, to be a stripper. We were literally just talking about the exercise class and how much core work and stuff it takes. You know what I'm saying? To be in one of those
Mm-hmm.
classes. And I mentioned that I was interested in taking a class. A couple of other ladies chimed in, and one said that they had taken a class. I'm not going to say who it is because, that live
Mm-hmm.
I have not posted. So I want to be respectful. But but it was a couple other people who was interested. Now my mama shut the whole thing down. Okay. But my mom is old school. You know, I had to tell my mom, I'm 47. I've been married almost 30 years. And I love you, appreciate you, God bless you, but she's grown. So that kind of gives a little bit of insight into the discussion. But I do agree it was kind of left hanging. But the only reason is because I really had to get to the gym. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
just hit it and quit it. No pun intended.
Yeah. So when I came
But you
in,
see,
I
I got my
came.
Santa hat.
Yes, I see. And definitely, I'm waiting for Kim J. I hope she can make it in because she's definitely naughty and not nice. Okay.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, it's gonna be on this holiday season. You understand?
when I came in, I heard something about the poll. I saw somebody else in the chat saying that their husband wanted them to hula hoop in a birthday suit, and
Yes.
then somebody was like, and I came in as low carb queen, and I was just like trying to listen and say hello, like not just totally be in the bushes. And then
Mm-hmm.
somebody called me out like, Pastor Kim is in the building. What do you say? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm trying to listen and see. I don't know what's going on, But
Right.
it was very lively and very good. And one of the things that really struck me is that you um have been married for 30 years, correct?
It'll be 30 in February. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, yes, that's close enough.
Hey, twin.
Hey, Miss Toy Review. And so I had my first marriage lasted 30 plus years. And so I can't ever remember whether it was 31 or 32. But it lasted a long time. It was my childhood sweetheart, yada yada yada. So um I'm always saying, like, people who have been married for a long time should
Mhm.
never take their marriage for granted, whether it's 10 years, 15 years. And so I wanted to just, at one point, or, one part of this whole thing was to address, okay, here you are in a 30-year marriage that is currently working, you're making it work, and, talking about some strategies there. And
Mhm.
me being in a 30-year marriage that took a left turn, what would I have done, and what could I have done that was different? I actually, and I meant to, excuse me, I'm gonna get my daughter to bring it down. I actually have a book. It was an anthology that a group of us, the ladies, we did together. And the title of it is Dear Lord, I think I married the wrong person. And when they asked me to participate, I was like, well, I didn't marry the wrong person. So I'm not sure if
Mhm.
y'all want me to write about it. But the lady, that I knew, she was like, yeah, I still want you to write. So she just put my story first, because I started out by saying I definitely did not marry the wrong person. It's just the paths that we took from being married so long and knowing each other so long, and childhood sweethearts and friendship and yada,
Mhm.
yada, yada. So I just wanted to
Mhm.
address some of that, because so many people want to be married, and I'm definitely not against marriage. I love marriage. Those of you, some of you know, I remarried. I started over, moved, and remarried. So I'm currently in my second marriage, and in the words of Felicia, it's complicated. So I love the idea of being married, but I don't want people to be mistaken, because marriage is a lot of work, okay? Just as hard as you work on a
Mhm.
career or any other aspect of life, marriage deserves that equal opportunity of doing and working towards that marriage as anything else. Please chime in. What do you say to that? Or do you have anything you want to say
Yeah,
to
I
that?
absolutely fully agree. Oh yeah, 1,000%. Marriage is absolutely hard work. It is it is the ultimate, I feel like, commitment for sure. But then also, as you're married for so long, again, I've been married for 30 years. I've been with the same guy since I was 14. So as far as experience, I'm exceptionally limited, from a like dating arena. I don't have that history, because I married, so early. I was married at 18. And what I will say, one of the things that was critical for us, um, is allowing ourselves at critical points of maturation process. Here's what I mean by that. You're not the same, every decade. In your 20s, you're a different woman, 30s, a different woman, 40s, etc. For us, it was critical to allow the evolutionary process, and by evolution, I mean by its full definition, just change. Us changing and
Mm-hmm.
growing up together to allow to the experience of being um the insecurities associated, with allowing that space and changing, and then being accepting of the other person's turn. Um, and what I mean by other person's turn is sometimes, like for 10 years, I was a stay-at-home mom, for example. And my husband, I did the traditional thing, had the meals cooked. I took care of all the things, the kids. I was the room mom. Shout out to my husband. all the teachers in the chat. I was a room mom, at my kids' schools. I did all the things on the PTO boards, PTA boards, etc. While my husband, went and got the cheese for our family essentially. But then at some point, it took a turn in our relationship to where I really wanted to have my chance at bat too. And so that's what I mean by taking turns in the evolutionary process and having those critical conversations along the way. A lot of people I've found that are married for a long time, they really stop having what I call the interest conversations. The stuff like, do you still like me? You know what I'm saying? Is the perfume
Absolutely.
I'm wearing still working for you? You know what I'm saying? Is, the way I dress. And I'll say this and then I'll pause. My husband, some years back now, we were living in Albuquerque at the time and we had one of these check-in conversations. And he his criticism, which was constructive, but I didn't kind of take it that way at the time, was that I dressed frumpy. And he would like for me to dress a little bit more contemporary, let's call it. And this was back, I didn't hardly wear makeup, back then, because, I'm transitioning out of motherhood. The kids are slowly but
Mm-hmm.
surely graduating, coming out of high school. But I had held on to this idea of what a mother and a wife should look like based off of other people I held in high regard. For me, that was my grandmother's. And for him to
Mm-hmm.
give me that feedback, um, after I got my emotions put to the side, he was actually right. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really dressing for my age. I was in my 20s looking like I was
Mm-hmm.
40. You know what I'm saying? As far as how I was dressing. And so, and I want my husband to be attractive to me because men are visual creatures. And so that's what I mean when I say about the evolutionary process and taking our turns at bat. And I'll pause there.
Wow. So I'm going to get to what Miss Toya is saying. She said, I think people try to make you feel bad for being single, like you are missing out on something. I think if people spoke more on on how hard marriage can be, more people would be better prepared to stay. Absolutely. Felicia says she just got home. Lieutenant Gray says you better have this filmed. Hey, Harjareen. Lieutenant Gray says,
Hey, hard
I'm
dream.
I might get hate for this, but in my humble opinion, it's easier to be single than to be married. You better say it.
It is.
It's the truth,
You're
anyhow.
not wrong. That's
Mm-mm.
so true. I totally agree with that. I agree with that from because I've technically not really been single, so I know I can't speak from an experiential standpoint. But if you think for 1 second that I haven't imagined what it would be like to have my own spot, I put some down and it's right where I left it. I ain't got to look at balled up socks and pants next to the laundry hamper. You know what I'm saying? And the laundry hamper ain't even full. I ain't got to, go when I tell you there's a long, long, long list of things that I know for a fact I wouldn't have to do if I weren't married. So Grace, you're not gonna get no pushback from me. You're absolutely right because when you're single, you know what I'm saying. The responsibility and the commitment of taking another person's feelings under consideration is really kind of is not, I won't say it's not present if you have a significant other because you can be single and dating, but it's not the gravity of what you hold when you are married. I think is different. So I think you're right on the money with that, Grace, especially for most women. I want to make sure I'm careful with my language, especially for most women.
So, so I feel like we both, have similar backgrounds. Married young. I met my first husband at the age of 14, going on 15. We got married at I was 19 and he was 20. So he was, my life, and being born and raised in the church, and then him uh, coming into the church. He was first generation Christian, and he just sort of came on board with me, and then he took it and ran with it. Let me put it that way. After he came on board with me, he took it and ran with it. So I get everything that you are absolutely saying as far as uh just being married, not really knowing what it means to be single. And so subsequently, when we and he divorced me, when we got divorced, um, uh, in our after 30 plus years, I was completely lost. I mean, the church was my identity, he was my identity, our children, all of that was part of my identity. Even though I had gone back to school, some of y'all know I've talked about that before. I had gone back to school, got my bachelor's, got my master's, and was in education, but it was still a high level of my identity. And more than that, we were great friends and great business partners. And um, him, which is one of the important things that, we need to look at, people need to look at. He came from a two-parent household, and I came from a one-parent household. My mom and dad divorced when I was 4. And so it was not an issue or a question as to whether or not I could or would leave him, and it wasn't
Mhm.
a question, the way he was raised, you just stayed together no matter what. So it was kind of a shock when he, was talking about divorcing me and did so. So that left me really lost identity wise. And one of the
Mhm.
most important things was I felt like I needed to be married again because that's all I knew.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I met this person. I gave myself some time to heal. I was divorced like 2009, 2010, somewhere along in there. And I remarried in 2014 to somebody that I met online. And I didn't really expect to fall in love. I just expected to be in a marriage and have a respectable type of relationship. But in any event, you know, uh, we did get married, but the amount of work that had to go into this second marriage became overwhelming
Mhm.
because I hadn't grown up with him. Like you said, those times of changing
Mhm.
from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s. Now I'm grown. I'm remarrying in
Mhm.
my 50s, and so I'm like, yo, I'm just not as vested probably as I should be. And I really thought that I needed this because this has been my whole life, but
Yeah.
you're not really lining up the way that I need you to line up. So I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, and I'm having
Mhm.
some second, third, fourth, and fifth thoughts, and I came to the realization because I never thought that I would be by myself. I'm just not that type of woman,
Mhm.
So I came to the realization that hey, I can live by myself and I can enjoy it. Okay, and
Mhm.
that's a reality. So I feel it when Miss Toy is saying people try to make people feel bad about being single and that type of thing. But honey, if you've ever been married for any length of time and you know the amount of work that it takes, then you can learn to enjoy being single. And again,
Mhm.
mine is a little complicated. Some of you know and some of you don't. My husband is currently in a nursing home. So and he's younger than me, but that's like I said, that's another story. So yeah,
Mhm.
marriage is definitely work. Let me run over here to the chat.
All right.
Ooh, it's jumping. Kim
Hey,
J is in the building. Yes.
Kim J. Hey.
And people are speaking to each other. Miss, let's see, Harjarine says, Miss Toy, the review, right. There is nothing easy about being married, regardless if you see eye to eye most days. It's in between days as well. I wouldn't change it for the world though.
Mhm. Mhm.
Calamity says, it's easier being single. I'll be married only 10 years in December. Every day is work. However, we've learned to remember why we got together and understand we can grow and adapt.
I love
All right.
that.
Yes, I do too. Let's see. L. Lewis, I've been married so long, I probably need a dating one-on-one refresher course if I ever had to go back out there. Woo, child. L. Lewis, I would go back to my plan A if I was single again. Head to Italy for 2 weeks every 6 months and then return to normal life.
Oh, I
Oh,
love that too.
listen,
Sounds
JC.
amazing.
People are agreeing with Harjarine and JC. It's definitely work, says Kim J. Auntie Mama is in the building. Everybody, if the truth be told, people will tell the truth. You have to work at a good marriage. And
Mhm. Mhm.
one of the things that I will say, and I'm gonna ask you this same thing, if because people pop in and out of the live and everything like that. One of the things that I will say about marriage is, yes, people always say, you need to marry your best friend. Well, you do. Okay, y'all should be best friends in the sense of being comfortable with one another.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't, because I've known people who've married people that they're not comfortable with. They can't be themselves. You have to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, the romance of dating leading up to marriage
Mm-hmm.
is so important. It's the dating game, it's the mating game, it's the attraction. And like you said, men are visual, so they have to be physically attracted to the woman. But you
Mm-hmm.
should, once you get married, and it happens all the time, you should never ever eliminate the dating process. I don't care if
Agreed.
you date once a month or one, you should do something. I don't care if you have 5 kids, 10 kids, you should do something that reiterates that dating, how y'all initially got together. You should
Mm-hmm.
absolutely put the time in to date your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because again, in the 30-year marriage that I had, we were such good friends. It was a comfortability level. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
you know, it's like friends with benefits. It's the comfortability level. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like you said, it's not like a dating type, mating type thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
how you doing? How you feeling tonight? You okay? You good? It's that whole friendship thing. So
Yeah.
you have to move beyond that, and you have to keep that spark. You
Mm-hmm.
have to keep that spark. Go ahead, please address that.
Yeah.
Travis Todd is in the building. Go ahead.
Hey, Twan. I totally agree with you. Again, I mean, we definitely seeing eye to eye on that point. I think you have to keep it lively. But I will say it's not something, meaning dating each other is not something that we've always practiced. Um, and then of course there were times where the budget just wouldn't allow, because my idea of a date in one season of life and my husband's idea of a date was two separate things. So for example, when we still had kids that was 12 and under. Now all our kids are grown now. The oldest is 30 and the baby boy just turned 24, and we have 4 kids. But when they were like 12 and under, I just wanted time with him. So I didn't really care about going out at that key point here. At that time, I didn't care about going out and spending no money on a good dinner. At that time,
Mm-hmm.
I have since changed. But we try to see through like creative ways after I put the kids to bed. And I don't know who this will help, but when I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, I had a very structured schedule, even with me being a stay-at-home mom, because it was important that I spend time with Marlon outside of the kids when he came home from work. And so our kids' bedtime back then was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. You didn't have to be asleep, but you had to be in your room, in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, and I don't remember which one of us came up with this idea for this particular date, but Whole Foods, as y'all know, is not an inexpensive place. In fact, some might say it's quite expensive. But I remember my husband going to pick up, like in the deli section, the prepackaged, like smoked mozzarella stuff. He bought us a little dessert to share. I think it was like a lemon cream cake or something like that, and a couple of other goodies that we could share. And we had a picnic on the floor in the bedroom, lit some candles up. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I remember it this many years later shows you how significant that was to me. I think sometimes as ladies, we have this idea because, God has created us to have our emotions and our feelings, and they do have a place and a high value in a relationship. But I do think sometimes we have to like expand and be creative when, say, for example, a budget doesn't allow for, a date night out on the town, that is. Um, but dating is critical. For a while there, we had every Friday night was date nights. Then we went through some budget constraints from a family standpoint, and we couldn't really go out like how we used to. So then it got narrowed down to, like, to your point, um, low carb queen, to your point, it got narrowed down to like once a month. Then it was bi-weekly, and now we're back to almost every Friday. We're doing something together after work, regardless of what it is. Just because you do want to keep, like, to your point, the romance alive. It's so easy to be friends. You know what I'm saying? Like when you've been with somebody so long, and when I tell you that's my ride or die, like my husband is my dude. You know, I can talk street with him if I want to. He know every single thing about me. I don't have to read him in on stuff. He don't have to read me in on stuff. And so, to your point, there's a lot of comfort in that. At the same time, you don't want to sabotage the romantic side and the more intimate side of the marriage. And we actually had to have a check in recently about that.
Listen, everything you're saying is just like, again, I'm in total agreement. And the same thing, it doesn't, the dating doesn't have to involve going out or buying something. Like you said, it's taking time alone. We did the same thing, put the TV dinners in the bedroom, bought some ribs, shut the door, the kids in bed. This is our time. You have
Mhm.
to have, that your time. And like you said, that whole, the friendship, even after my first husband and I divorced, part of the reason why I uprooted and moved to North Carolina from the Philadelphia area was to get, we remained such good friends, and he wanted to get back together, but I didn't want, I wanted to, but my ego and
Mhm.
my pride wouldn't let me.
Wow. Can we
Yeah.
talk about that for a second though, Kim? So cause hold on, let's just pause for a second now. I know I'm your guest, but
Oh, no, 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 you go ahead, you're free.
I'm curious about this. Now, you married to, can I say he was your best friend, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And you considered it, but you said pride and ego kind of wouldn't allow you to consider the potential to get back. Can you talk a little bit more about what was
Well,
the pride? Like what was the root cause of where the pride was coming from? Was it what other people was thinking? Was it internal?
it was completely internal. I'm never a person that kind of worries about what other people think,
Mm-hmm.
but like, this was not our first hiccup. Let me put it like that. This wasn't our first hiccup in a 30-year marriage, because again, I'm coming from a single parent. So my first, in the, fight or flight. They have
Mm-hmm.
added a new one, fight, flight, and stay. When I was
Mm-hmm.
coming up, the psychologist, the stay part wasn't what I learned. It was fight or flight. So mine was definitely a flight. I might go away for a weekend. I might go to New York, stay with my mom, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't feel like I'm being treated, and I'm an only child, so I was a bit spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But doing this, in this particular situation, my pride was hurt because he was such my ride or die. I never thought that he would divorce me. It was always, oh yeah, I can and will divorce you if you don't treat me right, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you talking about leaving me and then you actually followed through?
Mhm.
Oh no, oh no. Mm. And
I see.
and it was to the point, time passed. It was to the point that he gathered me and all five of our girls together, and he said to me, divorcing you was the worst thing I've ever done.
Mm.
I made a mistake. I shouldn't have did it. I'm sorry. Bop, bop, bop. These were his words. I want my life back. And I'm like, again, my pride, my ego, nah, bro, I can't help you. So
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
order to distance myself, I moved. I moved to another state. We remained friends. We were friends. We were friends till, he died during the latter part of COVID.
My condolences again.
Thank you. But we remained friends. It was love because he was my buddy, my ride or die. You know.
Yeah.
So
That.
that's what I'm saying. That pride, you have to drop your pride. You have to drop your ego. You have
Mm-hmm.
to drop all of that in a marriage. Period and point blank.
Agreed.
I'm I'm jumping into this chat.
Yeah, because
Twan
it is
is
going.
I know, right? Twan is here. I saw somebody else. Wellness. I don't want to miss anybody. Miss Newton, big family, big noise. Get it together. Wellness is in the building. Wonderful to see y'all. Harjareen says, uh, let's see. I'm trying to post it up here, Harjareen. ain't nobody about to keep these 7 kids I got. They had to do them comfortable. See, that's another issue in itself, because back in the day, when you had all of those kids, that was not an option. That
Right.
was not an option. Margarine, I have some gardening. The kiddos can help. Kim J says, you also should be determined also to serve your spouse as unto the Lord. See, you going there, especially during the difficult times or the times you're not seeing eye to eye. So you
Mhm.
won't turn against each other,
Mhm.
allowing the enemy to some space. Girl, you better say that. See,
Okay, Kim J preaching to that.
hello, listen. She'll go into preach mode in a minute,
She will.
okay? And I
She
ain't
will.
mad at her. Let's see. L. Lewis says, our version of date night. Role playing. Okay. I'll be the bar pretending to be someone new, and he'll send a drink my way like we just met. Next thing you know, we're making up stories about who we are and how we met. It's hilarious and keeps the spark alive. Absolutely. Kim J
And how
said
long
that.
you been married, L. Lewis? Can you put in the chat and remind me? Because I know you've been married a minute too.
Okay. JC says, love that. Ours is going fishing overnight somewhere with PB and J sandwiches to go.
Okay,
Yes.
I love that overnight part. You know, you got the sky, the moonlight, the stars and stuff. That's romantic.
Yes. And you can also do a staycation. You can go like, to a hotel.
Hmm.
I used to laugh at a couple that we knew, they would just do a staycation. They would go, like I say, a couple miles out and go to a hotel, and it's like, why are you going to a hotel? Your kids are grown. They only had 2 kids, and they were not in the home. So it's like, but it's the idea, the ambiance, all of that. And
Hmm.
so yes, Kim J says, I was telling my husband about us doing the going out and acting as we didn't know each other, and so on and so forth.
I love that. A good flirt. Hmm. Nice and spicy, like I like it.
If they said that part, Queen, I'm good. We better at friends. Yeah, I mean, the friendship is valid, but you don't want the friendship to take away from
Mhm.
the why y'all got together in the first place. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Yeah, the
It
friendship is
just
an enhancer.
absolutely. I'm gonna
Hmm.
see. Ever since losing weight, you have found yourself dressing more sexy for your husband. Oh, Evelyn, since losing weight, have you found yourself dressing more sexy for your husband after your weight loss?
Twin, this is a really good question. Um, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I will say that because I'm prioritizing myself and going through my own personal development journey, that I've been dressing sexier first for myself. Um, because I understand that if I don't put the work into me, even though I'm married, I can't have the objective be meeting someone else's need. It has to be intrinsic. And so I have been dressing sexier for me, but Marlon has absolutely enjoyed the benefits of me dressing sexy. And that was another thing I think we touched on last week very briefly, with because I was referencing when updating your intimate wardrobe too, which is something sometimes that's neglected. I feel like some of us probably are better at it than others, but I'll just be honest with you. I back in the day, like, because I was a stay-at-home mom and we were kind of scratching and surviving, if you will, to get to a certain place financially. I didn't have a budget to be buying all the cutesy, stuff at Victoria's Secret and stuff. And for a long time, I was not a matching girl, just to keep it real with you.
Hmm.
That's only been like recent years. But I will tell you this: when your girl puts it on, I definitely, how can I put this without putting my business too much out on the street? My husband, he be paying attention. Do you hear me?
Most men
Attention,
do.
y'all. Hmm.
Go ahead. You say he
Oh
pays
no.
attention.
I'm
Most men
good.
do. And like you said, most men are visual. I remember my first husband, that now, because I'm older, they didn't have a lot of plus size stores. They had 16 plus in Lane Bryant. My husband would go and buy those at that time size 18, 20. thongs. I thought he was losing his mind. Okay, like what? He'd just be like, just put it on, just put it on. But Steve Harvey said it's something about a woman in a thong. We don't care what size you are. Okay, so
They want that jiggle jangle. They want that jiggle jangle, you know.
so you got to take them by surprise. Sometimes you really do. And
I
okay,
totally
yeah,
agree
El
with that.
Lewis, she put 35 years. She's been married 35 years. And
Beautiful.
that's a tribute to you. when you ready to go into the chat, listen, you could have been up here too, because you're doing some pretending after 35 years. Kim J says, our night will be ending with slipping up to that room, honey, for sure. So this
Yes.
is one of the things that you hit on. Um, um, and I forgot exactly how you said it, but it made me think about the love languages.
Mhm.
What your husband needs versus what you need, or what your spouse needs versus what you need. Um, and I want y'all to chime in on what type of person that you are, because some women don't like to express what they need or what they want. They have the expectation that if the man loves them, then they will know,
Mhm.
or they'll be able to figure it out or know or whatever. I'm not like that. I'm going to tell you exactly what I want and exactly what I need. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's from the rooter to the tutor. I'm gonna tell you what I want, what I need.
Right.
Now, if you can meet me there or meet me halfway or whatever the case may be, depending on what it is, then yes. But the love language, which is one of the things that I wanted to share, that's so important. So
Mhm.
y'all chime in on that. Evelyn, what do you say about that?
Yeah, I definitely I agree again. I've never had a hard time because of the friendship piece, being transparent with Marlon about what my expectations are. I will say that as I've aged, because I'm 47 now, on the eve of 48, really pretty soon
Mm-hmm.
here. Um, my libido definitely has, done spun up so I can, when I'm ready, I'm ready, just
Mm-hmm.
keeping it real with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I have told him, what I'm saying, what I need.
Mm-hmm.
My big thing is, if I tell you what I need, I'm gonna need you to be a good student and pay attention at what I'm telling you, because I don't want to have to keep telling you. I don't want to have to keep reminding you over and over and over again if I've already provided a level of specificity for you. Because to me, that's sexy. To me, recounting what I have shared with you in private in a non-intimate time, and then just going ahead and doing it, that is a turn on to me personally. But if I have to remind you while I'm in the middle of doing something, that can be potentially problematic for me, because now I feel like I'm going into, how can I put this, administrative assistant role, you know, when I don't want to be that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be something else. Y'all see the Santa hat. I'm trying to be something else right now. I don't want to go and have to, kind of coach you up on it. Unless the exception is, unless we have agreed that a particular session might need that. You know what I'm saying? If you catch
Mm-hmm.
my drift.
I
Um,
absolutely catch your drift. And
mhm,
and I was and I was also, I mean, I was, like I said, from head to toe, but I'm also talking about in general, like when a woman has you know maybe she likes flowers and he doesn't give her flowers. Well, have you
mhm,
ever told him, that you like flowers? You understand what I'm saying? So,
mhm,
women have to express, and you have to know what your expression of love is, because it ties into how people are raised, their background, yada yada yada. It ties into all of that, and somebody can spend so much time giving you something based on their experience, their life experience, what they've witnessed from their parents, anything. They can spend their life giving you something, and it may not be what you need. You see what I'm saying?
mhm.
Because
I do.
my first husband, and of course you want a provider, you want somebody where you feel secure, but
Mhm,
him, like I say, coming from a two-parent family, and his father taking complete care of his mother. She was stay at home, didn't have to do anything.
mhm.
that was his love language, um I remember one time asking him, well, you still love me? He's like, what do you mean? Look around. Do I still love you? Look around. But sometimes you want, like you say, you want the person's attention. And I think that's what it was. You want to spend time with that person. That might be your love language, but that might not be theirs. So I'm gonna jump right in here and look at
Mhm.
these love languages here, and y'all chime in and let me know where y'all fit in here. Words of affirmation. Do you need verbal expression of love and appreciation? Acts of service. That's definitely one of mine. Helping, supporting, and doing thoughtful tasks. Receiving gifts. Yes. thoughtful items. Thoughtful items that show love and effort. Quality time, undivided attention, and meaningful moments together. Physical touch, affirmation through physical connection. You can ask any man 9 times out of 10, their top two are words of affirmation and physical touch. Hands down. I've
Mhm.
done this in sessions, the whole 9 yards. Those are theirs too. You might get a man that says all of it, but the top two are usually words of affirmation, because you got to stroke their ego. Period. Point blank. If you are such an independent
Mhm.
woman and you want to get married and you don't want to stroke a man's ego, I don't even know how else to say it. If you don't want to stroke his ego, you're gonna be in trouble, because that's what they like. Help me out,
They
Evelyn,
do need
while
it.
I go to the
No,
chat.
they do. I'm not gonna leave you out there by yourself. I mean, they really do need it, And I would say they especially need it in times that are questionable. Maybe you lost a job. There was a point that my husband didn't lose his job, like he didn't get fired, but it was such an incredible amount of stress for him when he was up for promotions and stuff, and the different um, same issues that a lot of black folks face in the workplace, and to see him come home and be and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but to see him, broken in that moment, knowing that he needed me to say it's gonna be all right. We gonna be
Hmm.
all right. Everything is gonna be okay. We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I
Absolutely.
rev him up and I say, forget them folk, man, up at work. We ain't studying them folks. They don't run that over here. Sometimes it's me doing that, at home. But I totally agree. Words of affirmation for my husband means a lot because we don't they don't know if we don't say. I should say, let me rephrase. Most men don't know if we don't say, if we appreciate them for, like, my husband manicures our yard. That's his thing. I be like, babe, you be cutting that grass so good. I love green grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll pump him up because I ever don't want to cut no grass. So I need to make sure he know. You know what I'm saying? And that
Absolutely.
that really truly goes a long way for them. I don't
Absolutely.
I don't think you tell me this, Kim, what you think, but in the chat too. I say this often when I'm talking in private with my husband, and that is, I feel like God created women to be the more complex creatures, and that men really, I do not mean this bashfully at all, but men really are simple. You know what I'm saying? They be telling you exactly what they want, and it kind of be us sometimes trying to find the hidden meaning and trying to do this over here, but they actually be telling you to your face, to your eyeball the whole time. And sometimes we can make things be more out to be more than what they are. So I fully agree. Words of affirmation, and of course physical touch. Yes, goes without saying. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Women have changed, women have evolved, but for the most part, men have adapted, but they haven't really changed.
That's a
Okay.
good point. Good point. Good word.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
they,
Mm-hmm.
they have adapted to our change, but they haven't really changed. They're pretty basic. I love Alonda. She says, yes, I get it. Let me enjoy me, and my happiness is the benefit. Yes, in the words of Michelle Obama, if I'm happy, everybody is happy, okay?
It's true. It's true. It's so true.
Yes, that somebody coined the phrase happy wife, happy life. You know. All right, let's see. Kim J says, not you shuddering with that comment, beautiful. Let it out. Yes, don't don't put too much of your business out in these streets.
I'm
Listen,
trying not to. I'm trying my best, but it's hard not to be transparent and share, the specific examples because, what I'm saying, you want people. to know, and you want to provide a little bit of insight, so I'm still working on where that boundary line is.
Oh, don't feel bad. My kids tell me I overshare all the time. Losing it Gray says love languages, words of affirmation, acts of service, receive. Okay, you put them all in there. Yes, for everybody to see. Excuse me. Auntie Mama says 37 and
Oh
38 in
wow,
December.
that's awesome.
Wow. Wow. To be 38 years in December. Woo.
That's awesome.
That's Auntie Mama. That's wonderful. Hajmi, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want and need to, low carb queen. Listen, I know that's right. I ain't got time for no
Mhm.
games. I ain't got time. I do not have time. Kim J says, I'll let him know what I need. Excuse me, even though I know he is very observant to a lot of my needs. Absolutely.
Okay, Kim J. Okay, yes.
And it's a way, it's a way. It doesn't mean that it's a way that you tell him.
Agreed.
Margarine, 24 years. It'll be 25 years in January. Yes. JC says the best things we can learn as humans in any relationship is that we are not mind readers. We have to express out loud what we want and don't want.
Yes,
JC,
Jen. Yes.
you'll be surprised how many people in a marriage, don't express themselves for fear of confrontation.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably one of the biggest things. Toy says acts of service and quality time. Twan says all of them. Twan, she said all of them. Listen, I'm trying to put your comment in there, slowing up. Alonda says acts of service for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
L. Lewis, all of them. Kim J, my first two love languages are quality time, then physical touch. He is too, so just in his is too, I'm sorry, just in reverse. Yeah. Quality time, words of affirmation. Harjareen says, Kim J,
Mhm.
in what order, Twan? She asked Twan. Lala,
Let me
what
take my
order?
board.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Kim J, Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Yes. There is a test you can go on his website to take,
Mhm.
and it'll let you know. Twan says quality time, physical touch, affirmation, gifts, and acts of service in order. Um, L. Lewis, I love it. I let my man know he's the GOAT. I know that's right. No matter what,
That's,
you should. Oh, you should see his Kool-Aid smile. It gets him every time.
oh,
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
love
like,
that. That's so
yeah,
beautiful.
men are like that. True.
They
Let's
are.
see. Jay says true. Evelyn is slowing up a little bit. You said it perfectly. Yes, Queen, we evolve. They stay the same. So you have to let them know. I know that's right. Let's see. There is no order. I want all of them when I am home, Lewis says. Kim J says that part, unless it is sexy games. Wink, wink. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Yeah,
I'm with
listen.
it. I'm with it.
Listen, you have to evolve. You absolutely, as they say, have to evolve in the marriage. And that's been the problem in marriages. First of all, a lot of the problems, the single want to be married and the married want to be single. And then and then, we're not even going to talk, Kim J, we're not even going to talk about the women in the church, who
Mm,
can be so prudish. How you
mm.
gonna be prudish and married? That's why when I was in your chat the other day, I was like, look, all I got is marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. That's all I got. That's all I got, y'all.
Whew.
Because all you
Amen.
got to do is
Amen.
read Psalms of Solomon, okay? Listen, if you read Psalms of Solomon, you won't have nothing else to say. Nothing else to say. He called them bad boys pomegranates, okay?
Why don't you
Don't
preach?
don't get me started, okay? Do
Hey, yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
True. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's a quick fire, rapid fire question. Put it in the chat, y'all. And Evelyn, who says it? Who said I love you first?
I think it was me back in high school in 1992, and it's in a staircase.
Okay.
I asked him if he loved me, and then I remember we was kids, so I asked him if he loved me, and then he was like, "Well, do you love me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love you." hmm I mean, it was me. And then he said it back.
Okay. L. Lewis
hmm
said he did. Harjarine said, uh, my husband, Twan said he did. I love you first. Yeah, let me see. I can't remember. I think he did. I think he did. I'm gonna go with he did. Oh guys, this is a classic. Who's the better driver?
He is.
Oh, okay. We used to call my first husband Mr. Magoo. We used to call him because he was from New York, so he didn't really learn. I literally taught him, excuse me, taught him how to drive.
Oh.
My mother gave us a car for our wedding gift because
hmm
she lived in New York. She gave us her car for her wedding gift, the Mercury Capri.
uh-huh.
And so I taught him how to drive because we had moved to Philadelphia. Let me see who put that in the chat. The better driver. He is. He is. Twan says me. Kim J says, my husband said he said he loved me first. I can't remember. Okay.
Okay. hmm
Losing it Gray said he is. All right. Who apologizes first? Who
That's probably gonna be
apologizes?
me. That's
You
me.
okay?
hmm
Yeah, that was always me. I would get upset. Like, you don't apologize? you know, because it depends on where the brothers are from. Their apologies are different from some other people's apologies.
mm, that's
Kim
true.
J says, he is the better driver, but he scares me. I have a little bit of PTSD. Okay, from accidents.
Oh,
Okay.
got you. That makes sense.
JC. JC says he's the better city driver. I'm the better long distance driver. And
Okay. I like that breakdown.
Harjarine says me. Kim J me. Uh, L. Lewis, he does, or he do. Losing it gray, he does. Proud woman over here. Oh, um, this kind of answer. Who's more stubborn?
Oh, we might be tied in that. Honestly, we both pretty stubborn people when it comes to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Yeah, that's gonna be both.
I'm definitely. I think I'm stubborn. I'm definitely more stubborn in this current relationship.
Mm, I see.
I know it's difficult. I know some people probably say, "How she always talk about her first husband and she married?" But because I was married for 30 years, I had five
Yeah.
children by him. You know what I'm saying? So it is
No
very
it ain't no judgment over here. I definitely wasn't thinking that.
well, good, thank you. But I'm just like, it's difficult, and it's even more difficult because my current husband is not with me. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's hard to process. All of that is hard to process, hard to think about, hard to talk about because he's younger than me, but yet instead he's in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Currently in a long-term facility nursing home. So it's difficult.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's see. JC, he does, but I usually let's see. He does, but I usually say I don't want an apology. I just don't want to have to cover this again. Woo,
Okay.
woo,
Okay.
woo. That sounded
Okay.
like a little bit of what you were saying a little bit.
Mm, mm.
Kim J said, "You are queen at the doctor's office with your kids on your platform." Oh, I'm not sure. I'm just here listening. Doses of Shawnee.
Hey, Shawnee.
But we love you all the same.
Who Kim talking? Who is Kim talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope I didn't miss nothing. But the
Excuse me.
chat is jumping, so I'm listening to you all, says Twan. All right, so let's get into another question here.
hmm
Let me pull this up. That was my rapid fire questions. All right. So, what is the most challenging thing that you would say marriage is? Unless we've kind of covered it, but what's the most challenging thing about marriage? If you want me to go first, I will. But if you want to go first, you go ahead.
Yeah, let me get some processing time. You go first, Kim.
Okay, I think the most challenging thing about marriage is the compromise. And I'm gonna say,
Mm,
if you're older, like if you're in your 30s and definitely in your 40s or older, and you're talking about getting married, you have spent a lot of time, even if you have been in a relationship, but it wasn't a marriage where, you get to go home, you get a break, if you the compromise piece, because when you don't compromise in a marriage, that's the beginning of where that marriage is on its way into a form of division, period, and point blank.
mm,
Because when it gets heated, when it gets tough, and I'm talking about real issues, when it gets heated, when it gets tough, you're going to always come back to that issue. Okay. So,
mhm,
for example, if your husband wants you to cook every day and you don't want to cook every day, you're like, no, I'm busy just like you are, yada yada yada. Y'all have to come to an agreement and a compromise about that. I'm going to cook 3 days. I'm going to cook Sunday dinner. That's going to be leftovers for Monday. And it sounds like it's a crazy type of negotiation, but you have to, because
No, it's real talk.
if you don't settle that thing, then every time there's an issue, that's something that the person has to lean on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Like, look, we don't have anything to eat tonight, but I've been asking you to cook for the past 2 years. That's all
mhm,
I've asked you to do.
mhm,
So y'all have not resolved that issue. And once it's resolved and you come to a compromise, some compromises are going to be in your favor and some are not. But once you come to that compromise, then that issue is now off the table because we have
mhm,
discussed it. We have compromised. We did everything but draw up a contract. Okay.
mhm,
So that's
mhm,
what I think the most challenging. And the more you are set in your ways, and
mhm,
and that's what I found for me in my second marriage. Okay.
mhm,
The more you are set in your ways, then the more difficult the compromise becomes. Because my second husband had a great need. He is extremely clingy.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
he's one of those that want to be right here by your side. You understand what I'm
mhm,
saying? So
mhm,
I didn't need all of that in the moment, but that's who I married. So
mhm,
you have to come to that level of compromise. So for example, when he would go out, I would say, go out, go hang out with your friends. I'm good. I get a moment to myself. But I tell you, an hour and a half past, he'll call me. What you doing? You miss me? You ready for me to come home? What can you say to that? No.
Ooh,
Well,
wait.
I don't call what I'm out. I don't call what I'm out.
Right, right. I
So
love that. I love that.
yeah,
That
so
is hilarious.
you gotta have those. You have to have those compromises.
Mhm, mhm. I would say it's gonna fall probably under the umbrella of compromise, but I'll just speak very personally and not generally. For our relationship, the absolute hardest times we've ever had is when um, one of us was going through a change, and definitely for me. And here's what I mean by that. For example, y'all know we was married early, 18 to 19 years old, and um, I wanted to go back to school. Like I always have been good at school, in high school that was back in the day. But because I got married so young, I kind of put everything on hold because the kids just started coming so quick. They started coming so quick. They stair step. We had 4 kids by the time I was 24, I believe. And so I wouldn't say I lost myself. I would say I just never had that discovery process, associated with young womanhood. I didn't have that experience by myself. And so when I first brought up the conversation about going back to school, it was like I had asked if I could have an open relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just over here trying to better myself. And it was a little, it wasn't necessarily a bad conflict per se, but what it did was in us talking through it and why he, was quizzing me down about what my degree was going to be, what I'm going to do like I'm a little kid. The result, the root cause of him questioning me had to do with his own insecurities. And the truth of the matter is Marlon shared with me, and I don't think he'll mind me sharing this at all with y'all, is that he was insecure about me kind of finding myself. And in me finding myself, that meant that he would no longer have a place in my life. And so it really wasn't school at all. The real issue was he was insecure about our relationship potentially not being there and then having to live with that. Now that was nowhere near on my mind at all with pursuing higher education. I wasn't remotely close to thinking that way, but I have been kind of sheltered, under his, providership, since I was 18. Now I'm in my mid 20s, and you know what I'm saying, I'm about to be on the college campus. And people got concerned about other people being able to see their wife, you know and so we had to have that discussion.
I'm
And
live, just so you know.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
we had to have that discussion, and it ended up working. I mean, I'm 3 degrees later, you know what I'm saying? So clearly it didn't become an issue, but it's been several iterations of that throughout, the almost 3 decades of being married, where at certain points one of us has been insecure. I've had my turn with being insecure too, but that would be, I would say, the most challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. Especially, it depends, like I say, on the nature of the relationship, how it evolved. You got married young. I got married young. That's the same exact thing. I was 2 years into Howard University.
Mhm.
Came, would come and visit him for the, in the summertime, and then we just decided. Well, the reality was he got saved because he wasn't saved, and so he
Mhm.
got saved. He left New York, went to Philadelphia with some family, got saved, and he called me and said, "Listen, you always said we couldn't get married because we were unequally yoked, and now I'm saved." So I went to the church
Mhm.
that he got saved at, and it was Mount Airy Church of God in Christ in Philadelphia. And
Mhm.
it was a nice sized church. It's big now, but and all the girls were looking at him and wanting him. I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. This is not gonna happen. I wasn't thinking about school. I wasn't thinking about nothing. Okay,
You
my
was like,
mother,
that's my man, my man, my man, my man.
my mother was livid. Do you hear me? Livid. She was livid. She said, "You've been a good girl. You just got. That's all I want you to do is finish school." So I was like, "I'll finish." So I decided to go to Temple, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be finished. We'll get married. I'll be finished in a couple years, maximum 5, because I only had 2 years to go." And y'all heard me say this before. It took me 20 years,
Mm,
20 years to get my bachelor's degree. And I went right after and got my master's just because. But it took me 20 years because I was having kids,
mhm,
getting pregnant, having a kid, getting a part-time job. And he, same type of thing, well, your priorities are changed now. You shouldn't worry about school, you just, you stay home, take care of these kids, blah, blah, blah. But my
mhm,
mother was in my ear, okay? An administrative executive of the United Negro College Fund was like, "Oh,
mhm,
you got to finish school. You need a career. You have got to do this." So she just kept with me. So I just decided I was going to stop everything. I told him, I said, "I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm getting
mhm,
ready to go to school full time and finish and get my degree." And that's what I did. So I did that, went and got my master's, started teaching, and in a very short time I got offered a principalship. And so now I'm in the height of my career. He's got the church because he was a bishop. He has the church, and he's got a lot of things going on, getting grants from the city, yada, yada, yada. And I'm in the height of my career doing a principalship. And he says to me, "I really need your help." And I'm making good money. Okay. I really need your help. help. And we're not even talking about how you gonna pay me or how much you're gonna pay me. He was like, "I need you to come here and help me." And so again, I made that decision to give up my career after I had did all of that to accomplish all of that. And I made a decision to give that up to go full time with him because I mean at the end of the day, he was paying for everything. Even though I was working, he was already
Mhm.
paying for the house, the
Mhm.
cars. He was paying, he was like, look, you use your money to
Mhm.
do what you want to do with it. You buy some groceries, make sure the kids got clothes. But by then, like I say, he was paying for everything. He was a consultant for a law firm. So, we were really doing well.
Mhm.
Listen, we were doing so well when we did divorce and I had to make that car note, I was insulted. I was like, because I had never paid the car note before. I was like, what? And it was in his name. So he would call me and be like, yo, Kim, they calling me. You didn't make a car note. I said, it ain't in my name. I never had to pay it. So he would send me money to help me pay that car note.
Mhm. Mhm.
This was in my pre-second marriage time. But yeah, it was a lot, but I gave it up. So that's what I mean by the compromise. I'm not suggesting that anybody else would do that or should do that. But listen, listen. And if you hear Kim J, if you listen to Kim J, you gotta humble yourself and honor, and you do have to do all of those things. But it's people get it twisted. And submission. If you're gonna go from a biblical aspect,
Mhm.
submit to your husband. Is Submission is something that's willful. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
you're not subject to the person. You want to submit. You want to submit to God because He blesses you. If a man is treating you good, you don't have no problem submitting. What you
Yep.
need, babe? What you want me to do? you
Yep.
know so
Yep.
I never had an issue. Let's see. Twan, let me see what y'all chiming in. Twan, now he comes on there a lot more, so this means he's accepting of it because of how consuming YouTube is. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. You definitely see her husband on there more. And some husbands don't want to be. My current husband used to say, I'm starting a channel, husbands who hate YouTube, because I would be spending so much
Oh my
time on
goodness.
YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
We got a couple videos over on my other channel. They are hilarious because he's definitely hilarious. Absolutely. Kim J says yes. Compromise can be trying for us with some things. We can both be strong minded with certain things, and that was
Mhm.
another thing. Like he didn't have a problem being on the channel. I had the problem with him being on the channel
Oh really?
because oh yeah, my
Why?
second husband, yeah, because he don't have a filter. He has
Oh,
no
okay.
filter.
Okay.
So like you
Okay.
never know what he's going to say. So I would be like, cringing almost.
Okay. I see.
So yeah, he didn't really mind, so to speak, but mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right, let's see what y'all saying. Let's see. Allison Mapp is in the building. How are you?
Hey,
she
Allison.
she says that's me when I'm out enjoying my freedom. I see you when I get home. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen,
Mhm.
I could tell my second cousin Tony, where you going? I'm going to get my nails done. Where you going to get your nails done? I tell him where I'm at. I could say I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going here. I'm going in there. I could promise you. I could promise you. He's going to turn up at one of the places that I said I was going to be.
Oh, he gonna
He go,
turn up. He gonna
yes.
come, like literally. He gonna physically come on the scene.
He's going to physically come there. You don't know
Okay.
how many times I'm like, yo, who did I marry? Because you know how many times I done turned around and he in the wind, like out in the wing somewhere, or I come out the nail shop, he in the parking lot. I'm like, what are you doing?
What was the answer?
He's like, I'm looking at you. I'm looking.
I couldn't. Low carb queen. I couldn't. If I couldn't, I couldn't. If Marlon showed up at the nail appointment, the chiropractor, the only one that I won't really trip on him on is the gym. And hopefully, when you show up, you working out too, because that's just too much. That's too
Well,
much for
see,
me, Kim. That's too
I
much.
think, and I was trying to figure that out in terms of a southern man versus a northern man because, and I talked about this before. Like a northern man will drop you off at the nail salon and say, "Okay, what time?" or let you go grocery shopping and be like, "Okay, I'll come pick you up, take the groceries, put them in the car. But a Southern man, he's gonna push that cart. You don't know how many men I done seen sitting in the nail salon waiting for their wives. That was just new for me being in the South. Now I don't,
Okay,
I
that's
don't know.
awesome. Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more attention. I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more attention.
Let's see, Miss Toy. Yes, yes, I love me some me time. Absolutely. Like I said, if you're in your late 30s, 40s, or high, you're gonna
Hmm.
you're gonna appreciate that time. Unless you are a person that really wants somebody to cling to you, or you really want to cling to somebody and just be around each other. Wear the same t-shirts. We went on a cruise. Tony, I promise you, ordered t-shirts from Amazon for us to wear on the cruise.
It's cute. It is cute, Kim. But you know what? I will make my husband change. Because you know, like how it is when you've been married so long and you get dressed to go out somewhere, and you be like, how you got on the same color scheme as me? I don't mind if the accessories, pop out, but we
Uh-huh.
not we not twinning like that. Uh-uh. Mm-mm.
Some people like that though. Some people
So,
do.
and it's so cute. I appreciate it. If anybody, please don't get offended in the chat. I'm not trying to be offensive at all by my statement. I'm just saying for my preference, I would prefer that we not be twins.
And see, and like Twan is saying, I tell him it doesn't consume as much of my time as sports does. That part right there. Because, honey, when
Out.
I'm not a football fan, but when it's football season, he would go in the basement and he's like, I'm going to get me some police tape, throw the chicken wings and the celery in the basement and keep it moving. That's like how he would talk. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't bother me. Don't
Mhm.
don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? And then I would do something silly, like go down there and ask a bunch of questions. Well, what is this and what is that? Because I want you to see how it feels when you bother me. What move is that? What are they doing? Just acting totally stupid. Oh my goodness! Does anybody have any questions? We are going to Yes, yes, Miss Toy, HBCU. We're gonna try to wrap it up. Listen, I got my master's from the original HBCU, and this is a big argument: Cheney University versus Lincoln, the
Hmm.
first one. So yeah, I got my undergraduate from Temple. Hey, Joshua, how are you? So glad to have you in the building. So
Hey, young
so
man.
Joshua, let's see. Kim J says, my hubby has a hard time asking for help. That can also be a struggle
Mhm.
for us. Don't wait till the last minute to tell me. He gets it from his mama. He's better, but I'm still praying for praying
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
deliverance. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's hard a lot of times for men
I agree.
to ask for help. My first husband said that he was just like, I'm tired of you working, going to school, getting pregnant. Like I'm getting pregnant by myself, getting pregnant and
Right.
then quit your job. He was like, I'm just going to find a way to take care of this whole family, and you do what you want with your money. And so in that, the Lord opened that door for him, like I said, to get a job at a law firm.
Hmm.
And he was really very good at it. And so that's just what he did, and it worked out. It worked out for me. Let's see. Everybody is commenting, speaking. L. Lewis is saying, yes, that's true about the North versus the South men. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they're a little bit more hands-on. They are. I was trying to figure out what, the city slicker versus the
I'm.
country bubba, or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I'm not calling no. I take that back. That may not come out right, but they're just. I feel like Southern men are a little bit more hands-on in the day-to-day. Like you wash, I'll
Mm.
dry. You wash, or I'll cook.
Mhm.
If I cook, he didn't mind cleaning up the dishes and stuff like that. But yeah, a little bit more
My husband
hands-on.
ain't gonna clean no dishes too quick, but he is a phenomenal cook. He can cook his tail off. I ain't gonna even lie on the man.
All right. All right, let's see. Kim says, some men do that pulling up on you. They have trust issues. Yeah, I literally thought about that now, for real.
Hmm.
Often paranoid and may even be
Mm.
creeping or something.
Mm.
Now Tony
Mm.
wasn't creeping. Now that I do know. That part, no, that I do know. He is the one. a one woman man, but the trust issues might have very well been an issue because I don't think he was used to the type of person that I was, not having a need to be like up under him or
Mhm.
around him all the time. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
I don't think I think that was part of it. I'm I,
Mhm.
I'm almost sure that was that was part of it. Doses of Shadi is laughing. Doses of Shadi says, I feel you. Let me have my identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you got to take into consideration because, everybody has a part in a relationship. You have to take into consideration. Here I was. I had been a pastor's wife. I had been a pastor.
Mhm.
Since I had moved down here, I opened another church. And so he is a Christian, and his family went to church and everything, but he wasn't like, he was a sit in the crowd type of Christian. So I'm trying to thrust him into a different type of relationship altogether. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, into this leadership role that he was in no way, shape, or form ready for,
Mhm.
didn't quite appreciate it, and didn't like it to some
Mhm.
extent. Yeah, so that was, for me, that was unfair of me to do that to him. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because
Mhm.
I'm a female pastor. I need this brother on my shoulders. I just need you to look good, dress nice.
Mm.
And you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
things like, he just, it was difficult for him because ministry requires a lot, and
Yes.
ministry can be a secret lover. You can't fight, you
Mhm.
can't compete with God. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, a lot of pastors' wives struggle with that, you know,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they can't compete with God, but that's another conversation.
Let me ask you this, Kim. What time
Mhm.
you're live? What time you're live in? Because I got a question for you.
Okay, no, I'm good. I'm here as long as
Okay.
you're here. I don't
Okay.
have to. Go ahead.
You brought up something that I've always wanted to engage in deeper conversation about, and that is, the concept and the definition of what is equally yoked and what is unequally yoked. And here's why I'm asking that question. I remember because, like I say, for those of you who are into the chat late, I was married at 18, but of course I've been with the same dude since I was 14, and there was youth pastors at the time who advised, don't marry him. He not in the church because my husband straight street, straight, 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 straight street. When we first got married, he ended up getting saved at my church, but it was really kind of because of me. I mean, the Lord do what the Lord do, of course, over
Mm-hmm.
time. But he really ended up kind of doing that because of this whole equally unequal equal yoke conversation that I was talking to him about even back then. Because I grew up in church.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, like served on the front line, praise and worship team, like multiple church, the whole nine. But my husband don't have that background. His family don't have that background. And I always used to get really kind of almost fearful because he really didn't fall into the category of most church dudes. And frankly, most church dudes, I was not feeling like that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
the church dudes back in the day, they was cool and everything, but they didn't have the edge that Evelyn requires. I need you, I need you to have some type of, if we out somewhere, I need to know that it ain't gonna be just me having to get on folk. I need either you to take care of it or I need us to be boxing together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really feel like the dudes at church, you know what I'm saying, kind of presented that roughneck that roughneck type of feature. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh,
Characteristics. So can you
go
explain
ahead.
it a little more? Because our marriage has outlasted several pastors' marriages, several other, and you never want to compare. So that's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just saying, what is equally yoked really mean? It ain't just about we both saved. It ain't just that.
No, it really isn't. So this is the thing, and it's so funny. I'm laughing because everything you saying is the same thing for me. You know what I'm saying? I needed a brother with an edge. I just needed that. I needed to feel that level of protection, and maybe it was because, I was raised by a single parent, raised by my mother. I don't know. And my first husband, Lionel, he wasn't a big guy, because Tony is a big guy. But my first husband, he wasn't a big guy, but everybody was afraid of him. Like, we talking Brooklyn, Nostrand Avenue, Bed-Stuy. And when I would come around, they would be like, "Don't mess with her. That's Tony. I mean, that's Lionel's girl. Don't mess with her. That's Lionel's girl." So
That's how I was too. In high school, nobody
yeah,
messed with me. Off
exactly,
limits. Off
Ex-
limits.
exactly.
I feel that. Mm-hmm.
So and so the same thing. Growing up in church, you can't marry somebody unequally yoked. You have to have the same belief. Um, the like, I would go so far as to say, like, if somebody is Muslim and somebody else is Christian, you know, that's kind of a bit far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? Especially, if you're a devout Christian, and you got to lay all of that out as far as your kids, all of that concern. You want to be of like mind, because the Bible does say, how can two walk together except they agree? That's why I say on issues, whether big or small, you're going to have to come together, talk about them. Better to talk about them before than after. So the same thing, I would tell him I can't marry you because you don't even believe in God. He would be like, you go to church as much as you want. I don't have nothing against it. And then the first time he came to church with me, I was so excited, and he got so scared because, back in the day, you had the little pom-pom. You remember the little Afro puffs? And I was in
Yeah.
the choir, and honey, I was a shouter, okay? And I shouted that pom pom off on the choir because he had come to church with me. And when I finished singing, I went and sat down. He was like, "Let's go." I was like, "But they didn't preach it." He was like, "Let's go." Like, he was terrified.
Oh,
He was
poor
terrified.
guy.
And but the Lord was doing what He wanted to do. So I had left him alone. I had went on to school because, we would date, basically during the summers of high school years. But I went on to college and left him alone. And like I said, he relocated to Philadelphia, and that's when he got saved. And I reached out. I said, let me just call him and see how he's doing. And lo and behold, when I called him, he said, we are no longer equally yoked. And so we rekindled from there. And, he's like I told you, he took that ball and ran with it. He got really involved with the church and everything. Because I was like saying, well, I was saved first. I know about God. And a lot of things, we differed on because he was first generation. So it definitely has more of a meaning. But I'm going to tell you this. I had been, as a pastor, as a pastor's wife, as being born and raised in the church, as having 20 plus years of ministry, because Lionel and I started our ministry in like 87, our own ministry. I was just done. I was done. When I moved down here, I told God, I said, I don't never have to go to church again. I said, I'll go to the hospitals, been doing that. I'll go to the prisons. I'll witness to folks. I had those hats, suits, and purses, that polyester hat, suit, and purse to match. I had all of that. Okay. I gave all that stuff to the Goodwill, to the homeless shelters. I was like, I'm done. I'm done, because I had been so hurt. I had been hurt by the church, hurt by the divorce, the whole 9 yards. And this is what I said to God. I said, I just need regular sin. I need somebody smoke. They love you, but it's okay if they smoke. It's okay if they drink. I need regular sin, smoking, drinking, and sex. That's all I need. And honey, you talk about an unequal yoke. On down the road, in the midst, in the midst of Mr. Tony, okay, the Lord spoke to me and said, so how's that working out for you? I
Mm.
said, my God, today.
Mm.
My God, today, because he's a hidden drinker. I didn't know. You know how, and people say, how could you not know? How could I know? I had been married, I had been like you in one relationship. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So here I am in
Mhm.
my 50s, and he would be like, I know you're a pastor. Do you mind he would take me out, Maggiano's, all of that. You mind if I get a drink? I'm like, no. I said, one thing I will never do, I will never judge you. Never
Mhm.
judge you.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so I did it. But I didn't know anything about drinking or alcoholism or anything like that. You know? You
Wow.
know, I just didn't know. Our first
Mhm.
date, honey, he had like 2 Long Island iced teas and a couple of beers and drove me home. Not our
I,
first date,
I hear that. I hear that. I
so
hear that.
but he is a good guy. He is a decent guy. I'm not gonna take that away from him. He is a decent guy. I'm just praying for him and that situation. And when you say unequally yoked, to answer your question, it was unfair of me to try to thrust him into this deep Pentecostal
Mhm.
experience
Yeah.
that he was not ready for. He
Yeah.
wasn't ready for it. So that was to me, that was a form of being unequally yoked, if for nothing else, but trying to prepare him for it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I wanted the control. So it's like, okay, look, this is all you got to do. You just got to do this. This is my love language. Join
Mhm.
me in what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's more than that, and a lot of people try to make it more than what it is. You know what I'm saying? But if you're Methodist and he's Baptist, y'all should be able to work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me see
That's
what's
good.
going on in the chat. Let me see
Yeah.
what's.
It was popping for a while. I saw a couple real good comments.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna have to get me a man to twin with Kim J. Oh my gosh, I must have missed something. Okay, let's see. Kim Jackson, my Southern man ain't pulling up on me. He trusts where I go. Never gave him a reason not to. All right. All right. Maybe, yeah, I think that part. Great. Maybe he's overprotective. I definitely think that part. I definitely. Let's see. I wish my hubby would help me clean up. Not all the time. He just is that type of person that likes to do stuff together.
Mhm.
Let's see. That part, Kim J never gave him a reason to. Look, I never gave him a reason to. That's just his personality. And when this is to address what you said, Evelyn. When you start, which I wasn't starting to come into my own, but when you are coming into your own, or if you're popular, the man, you have to have a really secure man. You know
You
what I'm
do.
saying?
You
Because
really do.
I'm preaching. I got a congregation. I'm visiting churches. I'm preaching at other churches. You understand what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
and you have to. That's why I say you have to stroke that ego. You have to acknowledge the person. God forbid you go somewhere and they're with you, especially in the church environment, and you don't acknowledge them. Then
Mhm.
that's a problem. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
So you thrusting somebody into that who's never really been a part of that. That can be a lot. That
Mhm.
that can be a bit overwhelming.
It can be for sure.
Okay, let's see. Allison, we split it up since day one. Losing the Gray says this. I told him we both work, we both live here, we both dirty this place, we both clean it up together. That's right. Tell him what you want, Losing the
Mhm.
Gray. Tell
And
him what you
started
want.
off right.
Allison says that is a different ball game. Being in church and just attending. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Being behind the scenes is different.
Mhm.
Allison says I need to try that, Grace. Uh, Felicia, you said it. Good girls who like bad boys.
It's true.
Honey,
It's true.
I love a bad boy. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh no, it's some kind of magic they got. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
but both of them bad. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm sorry. I do. I used to say, Lord, give me a reform.
Yes, Johnny. I be saying that. That is exactly who I'm married to. He done turned into a Renaissance man now, but yes, give me that. I need somebody who can do all the above.
JC says, Grace, same in our house. He and I both do indoor and outdoor chores at work. All right, JC. I
Love
know
it.
that's right. Kim J says, true, Miss Kim, you can't compete with God, but we shouldn't feel like we are trying to compete with God, nor anyone either. It's God, me, him, then others, priorities, and to know the time and place for it. Absolutely. But that's on a, it's on a different level. We know, I agree with everything you're saying, but we know for sure. And Kim, listen, we can definitely have a come up on this platform or do it again because we know in the church so it's more women than men. Men get upset because the women give the pastor more attention than they do them. I mean, these are facts. You understand what I'm saying? They are just plain facts. They cook for the pastor, pastor's offering, all of that. Trust me, I've seen it. Like I said, I'm a pastor's wife. I've seen it all. And and they give that man, because that's how your husband is looking at it. You giving that man more attention than you're giving me. You're neglecting to clean my house, but you go in a Bible study. You see what I'm saying? Those are the realities. So no, you're not competing with God, but that's the crutch that many women have used. I'm serving God. No, you ain't serving God. You just ain't cleaning up. You choosing to go to Bible study rather than to clean up. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's so good. That is
Listen,
so good.
they don't want to hear from Pastor Kim for real.
Oh,
Kim J
well,
says, "Good girls
truth
love
sets us
that."
free.
Huh?
I said truth
It,
sets us free.
oh, it absolutely does.
Mhm.
Let's see. Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Unequally yoked. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, you could, and then again, the Bible says that a sanctified wife can sanctify her husband if he's pleased to dwell. You could both be married, and then one finds Christ. You've got some good men who are non-believers. Of course, you want to win them and you want to witness to them, but you got some non-believing men. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I condone it. I'm just saying you have some non-believing men who will take care of you better than a saved man.
And you better preach all day. This is a fact. This is a
So,
fact.
yeah. So you
Hmm.
have to find a way to be a witness, not necessarily witness to the person verbally, but to be a witness. And that means you that means you live a life. I think I shared this previously how I talked to a lady before and she was asking me, her husband liked to gamble, and so he wanted to go to Atlantic City and he wanted her to go, but her faith, her belief would not allow her to go, and she was asking me what should she do. Now I'm a practical preacher, okay? I'm sorry. But I was like, you should absolutely go. You don't have to gamble. See, people be worried. They be worried about, well, what if somebody, if they see me in there? That ain't none of their business. You with your husband, that's your business. If they want to accuse you of being at the casino with him, they can go ahead and accuse you because the devil is the accuser of the brethren. Okay.
Hmm.
You're
Hmm.
there with your husband sowing seeds. You may never pull the one-armed bandit or whatever. But
Hmm.
guess what? When it's time for a special event at church, you got a hold on him now. Because I done went to the casino with you a couple times, bro. Come on now. You can go sit in this service with me. You gotta have wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? But if you're gonna just be no, I can't go, pop, 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 it's not gonna cost you anything. Look, Paul, and I'm just my last preaching. Paul said, nothing is unlawful to me. It's just some things are not expedient. They're not doing anything for me. But when you are married, your first obligation is to your husband. And that's
It
what a
is.
lot of single people don't get.
Hmm. It is.
I'm done preaching. Go ahead. Give us
No,
give us some
no.
give us some last thoughts or whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Listen, you are so right. I was just gonna just tell myself for a second. The reason why I could kind of go on and in the conversation is because my husband is at work. But trust you me, I don't know if some of y'all who was on Twan's live a couple weeks back when I was on her live with her, and my husband walked in, and I said, "Well, my husband here," and I kind of shifted because I know what his expectation is when he come home. He wants FaceTime with me. You know what I'm saying? And quality time so he can, get his day off of him. And he does that. My husband is a talker, so he does that by telling me about all the things at work, and one of the things I wanted to share for any of you who are single, one of the most important things I feel like, and this is what I do tell my own daughters, is to know yourself. Know yourself. It is very difficult to evolve into the woman you're becoming while you're married, especially when you marry so young. And so, one of the things that I would encourage you to do, and even if you're not young and single, I think it's just important for all of us to do is invest in your own personal development. And I do mean that from a practical standpoint. I feel like because we're on your platform, it goes without saying I'm a believer as well, and also I believe in practicality. So what does personal development look like? How do I even get to know myself if that's new talk or language for you? There's plenty of free personality tests. I'm a huge fan of Myers-Briggs from a practicality standpoint. It'll shoot you out a lot of details about yourself through taking an assessment that maybe you might be aware of, maybe it might be a confirmation or not for you. The other thing I would say is there's books, there's videos like this. We just chit chat. You can always learn from somebody else's story. But knowing yourself is so key. Is so key to a lot of things, because if you don't know yourself, how is anyone else going to know how to treat you? You know how to treat you first. You should know how to treat you first, is what I would say. And I had to develop that, you know what I'm saying, as a young married person, and now almost 30 years married. Um, and then I would just say, like, if you thriving and you single, I ain't hating. You know what I'm saying? I think it's awesome. I think it's beautiful and awesome. But if you happen to be one of those ones who, you feel like you're being called to be somebody's, mate and partner, and committed, it definitely is work. But I also will say it also is one of the most rewarding things too, to be honest with you. Marlon and I were watching something together, and somebody was talking about, no, we were listening to somebody's live, and somebody in the comments were saying how hard it was because they had lost their partner, you know and I began to think, like, I actually don't know. I love the holidays, and I'm like, I don't know what I would do if I lost Marlon, not because from a providing standpoint, but just because when I say I truly like love him, yes, we've exchanged so many decades of life together, but like I admire him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to do life without him. That's how much I'm down for the dude. And so I'm sending out hopes and prayers to all my sisters who want to get married. Don't let some of the naysayers deter you from seeking that out for yourself if that's what you desire. And I'm going to be prayerful about, you finding your right mate and right partner for you. I just believe that they're out there.
Absolutely. And I want to say, for as far as like my first marriage, I got married young, you know, I was about 27, 3 kids in, and I just like woke up one day like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I want to go back to school and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade the genuineness of the love that we had. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't trade it at all because I have 5 beautiful daughters. Just how we together raised them. He was very protective of them. It was just the genuineness. It's a lot to have to contend with these days. When you're even trying to find somebody. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm,
And even with Tony, like I said, I didn't expect at 50, I really didn't expect to fall in love because Lionel was my first love and my only love. Like I loved him, period. And I didn't expect to fall in love again, but he made me believe and realize that, even in your 50s, you can genuinely fall in love with somebody. So I've always appreciated him for that. Absolutely appreciated him for that. and appreciated the bad boy, the man part of him. Because like y'all heard me say before, I like a man. I like a man to be a man. So,
Mhm.
my experience is I have no regrets. I do believe in marriage, absolutely. And like Evelyn said, I'm praying for those who want to be married.
Mhm.
That God prepare you. There is a book out there. It's called His Needs, Her Needs: How to Have an Affair-Proof Marriage, and it's something that you might want to read even before you get married. It's being proactive, because it talks about how every person in your life of the opposite sex that you've been in a relationship with, they deposit in your emotional bank. You know what I'm saying? And so who has that biggest deposit in your in your emotional bank? And it's something to think about. But yeah, I hope that you find true love, just genuineness. And I always like what JC talks about, humanity.
Mhm.
If we learn to respect people as human beings, you know what I'm saying, then that will take you so far. That'll take you beyond the looks and the this and the that. It'll just take you beyond all of that. When you can really respect the person for who they are and love them genuinely for who they are, it'll take you a long way. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to wrap this up,
Yeah.
y'all. I'm going to check these last few comments. We've been on here an hour and 46 minutes. How bad is the eye of the beholder? Kim J says. JC says, we should understand that not everyone had the same church experience. So their relationship with the church can be very different than their relationship to Christ and God. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
Yes, same doctrine,
I
trying to
like
go
your,
in
I
this.
like your profile pic, by the way. Jen changed her. JC changed her profile pic. Look like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, yeah, beautiful. She's beautiful. Her little flowers. L. Lewis says, being equally yoked means you and your partner are aligned in core values, beliefs, goals, and effort. You're both pulling in the same direction. It doesn't mean you have to be the same. Yes. Now you
Exactly
listen. You
right.
just laid that down, L. Lewis. She
Exactly
just
right.
she laid that down, and she got 35 years behind her. Okay, she laid it right on down. My gosh.
Exactly right.
Oh, L. Lewis, thank you so much.
That's so sweet.
Yes,
And
it
if you haven't
is.
liked, if you all are enjoying this live too, I know we're at the end, but please make sure you've liked this live so that we can continue to grow amongst each other and share on topics like this.
Absolutely. Lewis says spiritually, emotionally, and even financially. Yes, because that's a big part that was left
Mhm.
out, especially in the church.
Mhm.
PK, still remember the reason from marriage counseling first before marriage. Pastor Kim, still remember the reason for marriage counseling first before marriage. Yes, absolutely. Counseling before marriage. But knowing, Kim J says, but knowing that you both may not be the exact same level, yes. Wanting to and wanting to go in the same direction, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And
Mhm.
that, again, that level thing, it can be overrated. It really can, especially
Mhm.
in the church. You just have to be
Agreed.
careful. Huh?
I
Would
said
you
agreed. Mhm.
I, let's see. Joseph Shine says, I honestly want someone that sees Christ the same as I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want a believer. You absolutely do. But again, after that, okay, you believe, I believe. You believe in Jesus, I believe in Jesus.
Mhm.
It still goes, it can go to some other layers, because I really feel just like JC and L. Lewis was saying, y'all got to be going in the same direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
you definitely got to be going in the same direction financially. Um, let's see. We were last talking about your man was cheating on you, or you him, Miss Kim. I was talking in general. What I was saying, I know for sure it happens. What she say? We were last talking about your man was cheating on you. Oh, I missed that. I missed it. Kim J, you gonna have to tell me what you're talking about. Talking about your man was cheating on you, or you him. I was talking. I think, were you talking about like the reason why that he was watching me or something? Because I didn't say anybody was cheating on anybody. Definitely didn't say that. Okay,
No,
I'm
but I
lost.
think there was some conversation in the chat about it. Um,
Got you.
and so I think she was just saying that she wasn't saying that about your husband. At least that's what I'm picking up. We were
Oh,
talking about a
okay.
man cheating on you or him. I was talking in
Oh,
general.
in the
Yeah.
chat. Oh, got you,
Mhm.
got you, got you, got you. Okay, Kim J. I got you. Very true. I grew up in church and it looks that way. Yeah. Let's see. All right, let's see. Yes, I'm with you, Miss Kim. That's why I started off with you're right, true. Kim J. Yeah, sometimes I feel like the chat, it could be like texting. You know what I'm saying? You don't
It
always get
can.
get
Yep.
all get it all.
You're doing a
She
great
said,
job, though. You're doing a great
oh,
job keeping up.
thank you. Listen. I try not to preach, but it comes out sometimes. Listen, we all are teachers and preachers in our own right. Listen, it's offering time. Kim J said, super chat, hit the like button. Thank y'all for being here. Yes. Kim J, yes, Myers Briggs took that in college. Yeah, listen, I,
Mhm.
I go to psychology today all the time. They got a lot of good stuff over there, and it's all parallel. It is all parallel for real. Uh, my husband and I are both INTJs. What is that?
Okay.
What
That's
is
the
the
Myers
INT?
Briggs.
Oh,
Introvert.
oh, okay.
Introvert. I know the J is judging. Um, what is the T, Lord? I can't think of the T. Help me out, Jen, in this chat. What's the T? Because I'm an INFJ. So I'm an introvert, feeler, judger. But I
Yeah, I
can't think
haven't.
of
Listen, I haven't done that. You're gonna have to bring that up. You should do that on your channel. You should do that. The Myers Briggs. Let's see. Kim J is an
Okay.
ESFJ.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Extrovert.
They had, I used to have those types of things. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. I can't remember what my hubby is. I want to say he's an ISFJ. Yeah, I don't remember.
Introvert.
Twan says right.
Mhm.
Braces of Twan says agreed, agreed. Where's he at now? I don't know. Where's who at? His needs, her needs. Yes. Marriage Class studied it together. Yes, that's a good book. That's one of my favorite books, okay? Because it breaks it down. It's got a little work study. She said we need part two. Part
You
two.
know what?
Well,
Twan, right? Because we didn't touch on, and I'll leave this kind of as a teaser, but we did experience infidelity in our marriage early on, and I decided to be one of the stayers. And so at some point, I do want to talk through first why I chose to stay, and then two, how did I stay, and how are we still happily married and what I would call successful, not perfect, but successful. So y'all stay tuned for that. But I probably will need my husband for that conversation. So we'll see if I can get Marlon. I might have to do a couple tricks in the Santa hat, but I'm gonna see if Marlon, will come on and we can kind of talk through that. Because I think that's important. Sometimes you feel like you can't come back from certain things.
oh, absolutely.
Um, but I do serve a mighty God. And while it did take some years for us to kind of repair the breach in our relationship, I would say that all things are possible.
Absolutely.
All things are possible. Don't you ever second guess it. Don't you ever doubt it, especially for those of you in the chat who are believers. So I look forward to sharing more about that in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. And anybody and everybody knows when it comes to, and I'm gonna say this, we got to go. And when it comes to infidelity, that's the icing on the cake, so to speak. Unless you married unless he's a dog or she's a dog, they just can't keep it together. They just a hot box or whatever you want to call it. But that's the icing on the cake. It's so many layers underneath that. You know what I mean? And so,
Mhm.
yeah. You know what? The next one is on Evelyn, okay? I'm gonna be either in the chat or if she invite me up, I'm definitely will be happy to come up. But the next one, y'all look for part two on Beautiful I Am Colored, okay? L. Lewis said, my contribution today, straight to the marriage fund, because this foundation needs maintenance too. I give to the building fund. This coming Sunday, she is funny. JC says, agree, a part two is needed. You hear that, Evelyn? You got, listen, I'm passing the baton. Great live, ladies. Great conversation. I am so glad that you are here and that you consented to this collab. I'm so glad that all of y'all came in. I appreciate y'all so
Yes.
much. Those of you who will watch the replay, listen, I'm gonna put in the description. You need to watch this, okay? Because it's just we're sharing out of I'm gonna you know because you probably, let's see, you said you 47. Yeah, you could be my daughter. I just turned 67. But yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, we're speaking out of a place of love to want to share and to help and to build. My oldest daughter is actually 45. Yeah, that's why I had to
Oh,
think about it.
wow. You know
My
what though? You don't be coming across though like your age. I have to give you your props.
well,
You know,
thank
because
you.
I'm real new to you, but y'all know, if you ever been on Low Carb Queen channel, she interviewed you or talks with you or whatever, she do the pre-talk, and so I knew after our pre-talk, I said, okay, I got me a new little friend over here. Okay,
Yeah.
age don't matter. I feel like, we have to be in a posture of receiving information from which whoever the vessel is that God has chosen to deliver the message from. And I think that that's maturity. So
Absolutely.
they say age is just a number. And in this context, I absolutely believe that it is so. So I appreciate you so much for having me on your platform. I really do. I enjoyed this.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. I'm grateful for you for being here. And so we're gonna let y'all go. And y'all have a good evening, a great evening, and we'll get back to the GLP ones later. So y'all take care. We love y'all. Low carb journey, low carb life with your low carb queen and beautiful. I'm colored Miss Evelyn. Can I ask you a quick question? What is
Of
the
course you
meaning
can.
behind your channel name?
Sure. So, Beautiful I'm Colored is the title of a book that I wrote and self published back in 2022. And so, my channel was kind of like a jump off, or I should say, an extension of the book. And I also have podcasts that are still live. Like, so, you know how when you go to your YouTube channel, you see like the number of videos? Over half of the total number of my videos are actually my podcast.
Okay.
So I'm on Apple Podcast as well as Spotify. Um, and I did that before I got like really vested in the YouTube
Mm-hmm.
creation. But yeah, that's the behind the scenes of the title of my name. And the
Oh,
reason why, and I apologize, one more piece. The reason why
oh,
it's beautiful I am colored is it has nothing to do with my ethnicity or my race as a black woman. It has everything to do with all of the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, that make me me, that make you you. All of that is resulting in being beautiful because it made you you. So that's why I titled my book Beautiful I'm Colored.
oh my goodness, that's wonderful. I'm telling you, Evelyn is a gem. Evelyn, you are a gem. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Michelle, listen, Michelle, you just came in the building. Glad to see you. Guys, we are about to be on our way. Okay, here we go. Kim J, I know, sweetie. She said, I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking in general. That's what Evelyn, she explained that. Yes, 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 yes. Listen. I read back a little bit like what?
I saw you when you did it.
All right, I am sorry I missed anyone. Don't hold it. Oh no, no, you're fine. I never. Okay, Kim J, extrovert, sensing, feeling, judging. Okay, so she put that in there. Michelle said, that will be good. I need to understand that I know my husband is around the corner or driving by me when I'm hula hooping.
Girl,
Those,
shaking them hips, that'll land them every time.
listen, those are like so many layers, baby. You got that right. So many
Mhm,
layers. My
mhm.
goodness. Let's see. Okay, y'all. I'm out. We out the door. Auntie Kim. Kim J said Auntie Kimmy, aka Queen. I don't mind. Tracy Twan said my husband will be 67 on the 19th. Yeah, I turned 67 in October.
Happy birthday, Claxton.
Yes, yes indeed. Uh-huh. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Low carb journey, low carb life with the low carb queen. And remember, every day is a new beginning. Bye bye.